to the special edition. This is the Chelsea Manning special edition. So Private Manning, formerly known as Private Bradley Manning, and previously reported on this program as having received a 35-year prison sentence in the WikiLeaks scandal, has come out as a woman. I guess this is sort of a retraction. Technically, I did know that when I reported just yesterday, I guess. Sort of things are coming out very fast. I didn't know that her name is Chelsea, and they make every effort and attempt to remember to refer to her as her and move forward from there. I think when the news broke, it was sort of met with a collective, wait, what? I think, people were still sort of absorbing the 35 years and trying to remember the details of this. I'm sorry, these princesses are distracting me. So this is a special episode. I'm going to try to focus, I'm going to try and get to all of this. There's a lot of interesting things about this topic, and I want to get into all of them. I am still going to be playing the tunes. I'm not going to focus so much on that. Also, my kids are sleeping in the room, so maybe only crank it up to 11 tonight. And on the big screen is Dead and Breakfast, a low-budget, an underrated zombie movie that has nothing to do with anything, but that's what's going on back there. So, the BBC.com, in the report that I based my reporting off of on their website, sort of did mention Chelsea Manning, Private Manning, coming out as a woman, but they kind of slipped it in so casually towards the end of the article that I actually thought, wait, is this common knowledge? In my ignorance, maybe I was the last to know. I didn't think it was going to become the story. Of course it became the story. I didn't want to sensationalize it, so I'm not even sure if I mentioned it, but I didn't certainly focus on that. I think it is becoming the story. Those issues are interesting, and we're going to talk a little bit about them on the show today. Right now we're listening to the Kinks' State of Confusion. I think as part of the general confusion, I think I'm talking about, I think people are thinking the timing of this announcement is so odd, and, is it disingenuous, and is it politically motivated? And I think those are definitely all sort of valid reactions. I had those personal reactions, but I tried to sort of think it through and think about these things. So, as far as like the main question, a lot of people ask me, why didn't I know about this before? I think in her private life, friends and family did know. I know, it was part of the record of the trial. However, the public statement, which was made initially to Today, I guess in a statement to Today that appeared on Today.com, saying, I wish to be addressed and known as a woman. Feminine pronouns. My name is Chelsea. Moving forward, this is Born Against with. I'm going to play Down and Hobble. We could probably put Down and Hobble. And said, I didn't want to color the trial. So then the question becomes, well, why would you possibly want to color the verdict reaction, which is a valid question, but really actually points to its own answer in terms of she wouldn't possibly want to draw attention away from this 35 years, which actually no one's saying is going to happen. It took 8 years is the number people are saying is probably likely and whatnot at most. Good behavior and whatnot. But still, they handed down this 35-year massive verdict, and why would she, the one who is suffering under the sentence, want to call attention to something else, something sensationalistic, something that really does just provoke and confuse and divide opinions? And I don't think she would, unless it was sincere. I think it's valid to note perhaps she was expecting and hoping to be acquitted and hoping to go back to her private life and out of the public eye and move on with those transitions in private. Obviously, with this sentence, those options aren't available to her. So maybe that's why. That's something worth considering. I can't speak for her. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, she's not really trans, and this is just some sort of media grab, attention pouring, what people are saying, the chatter on the internet. You're talking about cutting off your penis, just to prove a political point. So, again, she's already kind of a hero in my book. I would say that's going pretty far to prove a point. Would anyone do that? I'm making a joke, but I don't think so. And I think that sort of points to people just really not understanding what transgender, what it means and what that's like and what that's about. They don't know it, they don't understand it. They can't imagine it, and so they think it must be something made up or something. But try to imagine. So that was what. Did I actually play Footbound and Hobbled? And this trash should have been free. Or part of it I voted against. Imagine actually taking hormones, your body changing, having to basically start over with all your friends and family at work, losing people who don't understand, people who do stay in your life still being confused and uncomfortable and awkward, multiple expensive, dangerous, as all surgery is, surgeries. I have to assume anyone who would undergo all of that is because they're really sincere about something. Is because something real inside of them. Subjecting yourself to the ridicule and the scorn and the looks and the intentionally hostile comments and the violence. Back to Manning in particular, Erica C. Barnett on Public Law points out very helpfully, reminds us that transgender inmates are the most likely to be raped, beaten, and killed. I don't think someone would choose that for funsies. Let's see if I can throw this okay. Everyday stagnation. Biological nonsense. Um, in her, it was a rebuttal to a disgusting commentary on the Seattle Times blog by Bruce Ramsey. I'm not even going to repeat or get into what he said. But in her excellent rebuttal, Erica Barnett did end by saying she wanted to hear a response from Ed Murray. She called on him, Seattle mayoral candidate Ed Murray, for a response. I'm guessing because he's gay. That's pretty gender orientation bias, Erica Barnett. I don't actually think she has those kinds of biases. But from my perspective, I would just as much like to hear a response from Mayor McGinn. What does he think about it? He's a public official. This is a big story. I would just as much call on him to make a public statement. There, I got my McGinn reference in. I am officially endorsing McGinn in this candidacy, the mayoral election in November. Drunk punks for McGinn! Yay! Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm sorry. Well, no. This isn't about Mayor McGinn. This is about, great, and we're still on topic, ish, the Seattle Times and their reporting standards. So, of course, they have endorsed, worth mentioning, Erica Barnett called on Ed Murray not only because he's gay, but specifically because he is endorsed by the Seattle Times, who did publish the commentary, disgusting commentary by Bruce Ramsey. I'm not linking to it, don't look for it, don't look at it. It's garbage. Seattle Times also published yet another, as I'm sure we can look forward to many in the coming months, hit piece on McGinn about how he withheld a report about the coal train impact for 5 weeks and then published it secretly on a blog. I don't know actually all the details of that in particular. I will tell you, again, my now popular refrain, Mike McGinn, man of the people, at the coal protest 2 months ago at Golden Gardens, he was there speaking out very clearly against coal trains. This actually was probably less than 5 weeks ago. If he was hiding a report, I think the Seattle Times is attempting to make a story out of nothing. However, I am continuing to report it. There was a coal impact statement that it wasn't published and then did get published. Mike McGinn for mayor. I'm losing control of this episode. Mythological nonsense. So, the Army has come out and said that they're not paying for this surgery. Obviously, I mean, I don't think anyone would have expected that. They helpfully said they would pay for psychological counseling, which would be great if this was 1964. I know that the new DSM-5 is out now. Isn't that just out as of this summer? I know probably even as of DSM-4, homosexuality was no longer listed as a disorder. I kind of don't even want to know what it still says about transgender people. Do they still use phrases like gender dysphoria and gender identity disorder? I saw those words tossed around in relation to Army statements, though I don't think any of the statements have been official yet. They're all sort of people who, it was on CNN.com, and they were saying, said an official who shouldn't be speaking on the record, but they're still quoting them on CNN.com, so I don't know. This Hands Up Mold by Dystopia. I mean, obviously, this is 2013. We need to move away from those kinds of medically those kinds of definitions as disorders. Though that gets into a lot of things, and I said, I'm trying to touch on both sides. I'm trying not to just express, I think I wear my heart on my sleeve as far as where I stand on these issues, but I do try and think for myself, consider all sides. There is going to come a point in that I may piss people off. So this photo, the interesting thing, the weird thing was, to me, was, if this was an attention grab, why is the Army helping? Because they released this photo, and maybe they were trying to humiliate her. She looked damn good in that picture. I'm just going to put that out there. Though, obviously, not comfortable with having her picture taken. There's a fragility in there. I think it's a great picture. I think it's a great image, but I think for it to be reported, there needed to be a visual element. So someone had, I'm still confused where that comes in, because the Army is the one who released those pictures. The media response, the media response, predictably, as I sort of touched on, the right wing has been hostile, rude, belligerent, mocking. I'm not calling him that until anything left me. I'm going to go ahead and say, on the other side, there has been sympathy, respect, but also, I think, a willingness to bend over backwards and not consider all sides of things. And I think that's important, to not get trapped in some, Tumblr echo chamber where everyone agrees with you and everyone outside of that is like myself, cis male shitlord oppressor. Check your privilege. I'll just let that hang. I'll be right back. No, I won't, because I have to change the record. Oh. I've also been watching a DVD menu for like 10 minutes and I'm not watching it because I'm trying to do 12 different things. This episode is going to rock. This is Stay Zombies Stay by Elvis Perkins. We're watching Dead and Breakfast. We'll get back to the Chelsea Manning special in one moment. Oh, this is singing so loud. The voice rang loud to the green tree, charmed the heart of a maiden old. And it charmed the heart of a maiden So this is Gypsy David, which is a traditional folk song thing. about to play Stay Velvet Stay. So let's talk about the media response a little bit more. I think several referenced the GLAAD guidelines. GLAAD stands for, shit, I should have taken better notes. Gay, lesbian, advancement dudes? No, that's not right. I'm making jokes. I'm mocking. I've become what I hate. No, I'm sorry. GLAAD, a very important, respected organization, came up with a series of guidelines. But I shouldn't be mocking them because to seriously talk, I did bring them up to discuss how I think it's important to think critically and not take everything just at face value and accept commentary because it comes from a perspective you agree with. GLAAD, a very respected organization whose acronym I cannot remember what it stands for now, but we'll say a gay and lesbian rights advocacy group, it has issued guidelines with regard to how you should encounter and deal with someone. Deal with. See the language, even when you're not even trying. Someone you know is now transgendered. What do? Well, you immediately acknowledge them by the gender identity that they are projecting, that they are stating. This is important with regards to the hostile commentary who's saying, I'm not going to, until he begins hormone therapy, I'm not going to acknowledge X, Y, or Z. As GLAAD helpfully points out, if someone comes out and states, I am female, that should be honored, whether or not they are on hormones, have surgery, what have you, what timeline they do that on, and whether or not they choose to share that with the public at large is their business. So you honor and respect from the day they announce, I am a woman, I am now a man. As others point out, the timeline is quite long, hormones, and it can go on for years and years and years. Or, in the case of Chelsea Manning, if you're imprisoned and denied access to those things, can be postponed indefinitely, unfortunately. But that doesn't deny that individual the rights to be acknowledged as who they feel they are. This gets into transgender in class, an issue I'm going to touch on, but I'm kind of saving it for last because, like I said, I feel like I'm going to piss people off. So, GLAAD's recommendations, you start referring to them as she. You slip up now and then, you apologize, you move on, you don't make a big deal about it, it's understood. They would hopefully also not make a big deal about it, understand that you may slip up, but you move forward and integrate this new understanding into your mind, this person that you found. To be transgender. However, on the flip side, I can't remember, I think it was CNN.com again, reported, well, what do you do if, what do you do when you want to talk about them in the past? What pronouns do you use to refer to them before the transition, or before the transition was announced, or, that time before when you knew them as? And GLAAD's response was, you don't talk about that. That could, I swear to you, I'm not quoting directly, but, that could embarrass them, that could be confusing. Better just not to talk about that. And I'm sorry, I disagree. First of all, avoiding things that are confusing, not talking about things, does not solve problems. And was Gypsy Davy and Stay Zombie Stay by Elvis Perkins. Does not solve problems. So I absolutely, wholeheartedly disagree there with them on that. This is the Stooges with I Need Somebody. The AP solution, which was mirrored by Wikipedia almost immediately. Wikipedia, I guess, learning from an incident in 2008 where they sort of waffled back and forth, just sort of went ahead and straight up changed the Chelsea Manning listing almost immediately, changed all the pronouns. The AP, Associated Press, will report Chelsea Manning, formerly known as Bradley Manning, the private blah blah blah. Clunky. I'm pretty sure their reporters are paid by the word, so they don't care. But I think it bears repeating over and over until it is common knowledge, until you don't just pretend they don't have a past. I mean, when someone is, Chelsea Manning's past as Bradley Manning is historically relevant. It's hugely historically relevant. You can't deny all the news articles that were printed then. You can't just say, well, they're Chelsea Manning now, so you don't talk about that. You have to acknowledge, known as Bradley Manning, so if some future student of history is trying to piece this together, it's not just a confusing hodgepodge of pronouns and names and wait, are they talking about the same person? Such is my 2 cents. But again, as far as respecting their identity almost immediately, of course you do. Of course you do. You meet a woman, you don't say, well, gee, your hair's short and you're wearing pants. I think I'm just going to call you a he until I get more evidence, unless you want to get slapped, obviously. So you already extend that courtesy to people. You already take people at their word. Trans people are asking for that same courtesy, and that seems reasonable enough. You meet a blob of a baby that, I don't know what that thing is. You ask the parent, you take their word for it. We already do this. So, again, we're talking about becoming inclusive with someone who's being excluded. And I guess we're getting to the meat of it and getting to the heart of it. I do feel, and this is the transgender and class issue, I feel as gay rights and gay people are mainstreamed and basically become mainstreamed, there has been this huge backlash. I feel it in just, like I said, the chatter, and then the message boards and the blogs and the commentary. So, on Reddit, there's this subreddit called Change My View, and they probably more so than many other places on Reddit, you will get upvoted for unpopular, controversial opinions. On this subreddit, the purpose is to change the person's point of view. So they will post controversial things. I don't like black people. And unlike other places where mostly on Reddit, that kind of overt racism or sexism or homophobia will get you downvoted or disinvited or banned or what have you. It will get upvoted only to sponsor debate. I bring this up because almost daily I'm seeing these. I don't like transgendered people. I don't think they have rights. I don't think they should have rights. I think they're crazy. And these things are getting upvoted. They're rising to the top. Every time I mention Reddit, I think, don't post me to our cringe. One of these days, it's just gonna happen. They're gonna have to find me on themselves. I never ever post any of these videos myself, except for several mistakes early on. Yeah, I never ever post these videos to Reddit. They're gonna have to find out their own. On that note. But I really feel like, these people who accept but maybe aren't completely comfortable or happy about the rise of gay rights, still need a scapegoat. And the gay community is not as supportive and inclusive of trans people as it needs to be, especially now as you need to, gather the wagons and rally around. And I'm speaking it out, me telling you what to do. But for real, and protect that vulnerable community, I feel. And all of us, not just the gay community, all of us, those of us who care, who have trans friends. Because I feel like society does need a whipping post, and it's really easy to single someone out, and as many gay people, gay is a minority, many gay people happen to be white males who happen to still be in positions of power because white males are often politicians, heads of corporations. Feel that is one reason why, I think one reason gay rights activism has very much been fast-tracked compared to other civil rights. Like, let's not forget the women's movement, which women still earn 70 cents on the dollar. Let's not refer, the black movement, both of which were slow going. I think the gay rights movement obviously benefits from the fact that we now live in an internet culture where information spreads much more quickly. Other evidence of that, for instance, the Arab Spring, etc. I don't think, it all comes down to the rich white gays in power, but, I am going to make it a class issue and say that has helped. When people in this state were pushing for gay rights, openly gay editorialists were saying, don't you want our money for gay weddings? They were using that leverage. So I don't think it's unfair for me to comment on that. Why do I sound belligerent and arguing for? But trans people don't have those positions in power yet. Stu, the play that I guess was kind of panned as not quite ready for prime time, but sounded interesting about the Oregon mayor who was a trans individual. I don't know what town in Oregon. The mayor of Oregon, the state of Oregon had a mayor. No. The mayor of a town in Oregon, small town, Westboro Baptist Church came to protest. The townsfolk, gay, straight, indifferent, bigoted, came out in defense of, they gathered the wagons and came out in defense and, shut the Westboro out of town. Someone made a play about it. The play, I guess, was playing on channel, didn't quite do so well. I'm definitely getting to the drunk and rambling portion of the program. There's Primeval by Moto. I'm not showing a lot of covers on this episode either, I'm sorry. I would love to see more trans individuals in positions of power. We'll see how that goes. I think we have a ways to go. I think we have ways to go with public perceptions, and I think the backlash right now, I think it's an uphill battle, which is especially why I do think it's fascinating, the timing of this, and confusing, and the confusion and the feeling confused is worth talking about, and not just ignoring and avoiding. Continuing on the theme of class and transgender issues, I think as techniques, surgeries, and medications become more refined, I think the wealthy transgendered individuals will more and more pass, whether they continue to choose to identify themselves as trans or just sort of move on with their new gender will become an issue. The poor transgendered individuals will have access to inferior surgeries or none at all, cheap makeup. They will continue to be the subject of scorn and ridicule. I think the class divide in the transgendered community is definitely worth talking about. I think, if we're talking about race and class, I think the incarcerated individuals, obviously of all races, but let's talk about the races that are incarcerated more than others, who happen to identify as trans. Are they going to be provided their medications in prison? No, probably not. We'll see what happens as we move on, and I would absolutely fight for people's rights. Insurance will access elected. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm saying these are questions. I'm saying these are questions worth discussing and worth discussing by everyone, whether it personally affects you or not. I did see. I was talking about those Tumblr echo chambers. I saw something, and it was by someone who sort of was obviously probably against those kind of communities, and I do support communities where people empower themselves and talk about gender and race, and we can talk about otherkins, and shout out to trans cats. I'm just going to put that out there. But people who take themselves too seriously and do, I feel, make a mockery of other people whose very real rights are infringed upon. And those echo chambers, but it has to get out of those echo chambers, and that can only happen by people outside of, by engaging with people who you may not entirely agree with, and by thinking critically about even the perspectives that come from opinions that come from a perspective that you trust. Yeah. This is Ozzy Osbourne from the Randy Rhoads review. Goodbye to Romance. Goodbye to Romance. feel like I tackled all of that. So the sources for this episode. Is this camera even pointed at me? The sources for this episode. I'll be back. I'm sorry. I hate the check. Oh, goody. BBC.com, CNN.com, Today.com. I was mentioning in the last episode, I genuinely feel has stolen my format of browsing the front page of Reddit, getting drunk and talking about it. That's it. That's what I do. That's what I've done. That's what this show is. And from what I understand, and I don't even watch these morning programs, but Today, Good Morning America, The View, they're all now proud of their wine. Hee hee, we're getting drunk in the morning. I don't shoot morning episodes. I don't upload them. I'm embarrassed about it. We'll see. They don't have my killer vinyl collection. I'm sorry, Publicola.com, local blog here in Seattle, which is apparently now powered by Seattle Met, which is fascinating because I think of Publicola as sort of like future forward and edgy, and Seattle Metropolitan Magazine is like the stodgiest, all the articles. I'm like, is this really written today about today? Because this article feels 50 years old. This magazine feels like it's been in my doctor's office for 50 years. It's July 2013 edition. Wow. I'll be back. Not bad. I guess technically I should turn, that was the Chelsea Manning special. I should turn this off. But I'm gonna keep going, and I feel like we need a mood adjustment. Sorry, Ozzy, you're getting a little bit depressing, especially with your dead guitarist playing such beautiful riffs. I think Black Sabbath is actually playing tonight. That's a coincidence. But there was someone else I was going to play in because they're... Okay. Darn. Oh, Danzig's playing now. That wasn't it. This is I'm a Goon by Ill Bill. Like I said, we just need a mood adjustment. So today, like I said, it's Saturday the 24th, 2013, August. Today was the Seattle Anarchist Book Fair. It was going on today. It will be going on tomorrow. Check it out tomorrow at the Vero Project. I think I will upload some footage from that. The Vero Project is at the Seattle Center, Warren Street. Is at the entrance from 10 to 5 tomorrow. The graffiti artist of the week of this episode is Sissy's Rule. I don't know if you can see that. Sissy's Rule. I don't think the PO box is going anymore. I didn't pay the bill, so I don't think you can PO box me. But email at patso.rose89. That's kind of all one thing. And you can get in touch on Reddit. New threat level, lowercase threat underscore level. It was Ill Bill with I'm a Goon. This is link. Oh no, it's not, because this. Wait. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how unplayable this record is right now. That's a shame. It's completely scratched. Silly Goose, local Blink-182 cover band, is coming out with a 7-inch this week on Anytime Records. That was feeling this, but it's mostly scratched, so mostly just the end of that. Sorry, not scratched, actually warped. I don't know if you can see that. That's. Yeah. Some of my 7 inches got overgrown. That's how it goes around here. I mostly just break records, smash records. Grrr, Hulk smash. We'll run the 7-inch tip. This is Taco Cat with baby teeth. Yeah, I remember. Don't turn me into a GIF. Emma Stone is dating Andrew Garfield. He's apparently the new Spider-Man. New. People are like, new? That's old. He's, yeah. In my mind, I'm actually still bitter that Sam Raimi remade Spider-Man because, in my mind, the 70s cartoon, or not cartoon, live-action series is the real Spider-Man. The fact that no one continues to use that awesome theme song. Do I have that? Oh my goodness. That would be the theme song. Wait. Yeah, I have one back. I need to stop getting up. I need to just be done with this episode. Okay. Then in the rebooted Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, an actor who I know by name and appearance, he looks kind of like a less ginger Seth Green with more of a monobrow and more of a seriousness, I guess. Emma Stone, whom I love, plays Mary Jane, or not, anyway. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about the new Spider-Man. But, apparently they're dating in real life. Andrew Garfield and Mary Jane and Emma Stone, and they, I guess, the paparazzi were stalking them, and so they held up these little signs that said, "Hey, if you're gonna take our picture, then we want you to support this XYZ charity," which is kind of funny and cute. But knowing from the previous Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, just be careful. Don't go too far down that. Politically cutesy, I don't know how to say it. Like, we've all seen, Toby. Yes, Toby, we know you're vegan. Thank you. This is what we do as secret. Vibe the drum. If my record player will let me play it. It's like playing music, physically playing music. Why do you think music so much? Goodness, this is like insane. Oh my goodness, this is super crazy. Thank you. That was tripping. This is what we do as secret. So why did I take the news of Private Manning's sentence, 35 years, so hard? Because that sounds really harsh. Because I don't think I did enough. I didn't look into it enough. I didn't fight enough. I didn't speak up. First they came for, I didn't when I had the chance. And I think that's where my strong feelings came from, this guilt that I didn't. This is Love and War by Amy